The full moon hung like a jaundiced eye over the dense forest surrounding the dilapidated mansion. The air was thick with the scent of moss and damp wood, and the breeze carried a symphony of distant howls and rustling leaves. Max took the lead, his flashlight slicing through the suffocating darkness as he ushered his group of friends closer to what could only be described as a haunted mansion from a bad horror flick. "Okay," Max said, his tone a mix of forced bravado and deep unease. He turned on his heel to address the group: Narcis, Serj, Cal, Diego, and Manoo, each holding flashlights, with mixed expressions of excitement and dread. "Oh yeah, fantastic plan," Narcis deadpanned, clutching his flashlight like it might save his life. "And what about the part where the cursed spirit makes us all its eternal servants?" Diego, classic skeptic that he was, rolled his eyes. "Come on, Narcis. Ghosts? Really? What are we, high schoolers chasing urban legends?" "At least, high schoolers would rethink this whole idea," Serj muttered under his breath, his freckled face pulled into a dubious scowl as he tried to peer into the grimy windows. Max groaned. "You're all a bunch of babies. Serj, you're a grown man. Look, it's just a creepy old house. They're like everywhere. We'll be fine." Manoo adjusted his jacket, frowning, as he stepped on what looked suspiciously like a desiccated rat skeleton. "I'll be fine, as long as there's no clown stuff in there. Clowns, man, that's where I draw the line." Cal smirked, his muscled shoulders shrugging nonchalantly. "Bet you 50 lei, there's a portrait inside, with the eyes that follow you everywhere. Classic haunted house trope." Diego snickered as he fumbled with the rusty doorknob on the mansion's front door. "I'll take that bet. This place doesn't even have running water, let alone creepy art budget." With one final stubborn jiggle of the doorknob, the door creaked open, groaning like it hadn't been disturbed in centuries. Everyone instinctively huddled closer together as the smell of mildew and rot spilled out. Flashlights lit their way like tiny bonfires as they ventured inside, stepping carefully onto the creaking floorboards. "Holy hell," Narcis said, waving his hand in front of his nose. "Smells worse than Serj's gym bag in here." "Hey," Serj exclaimed indignantly, "my gym bag smells like commitment, thank you very much." "Commitment is probably also what killed whatever used to live here," Diego quipped, laughing to himself before freezing. As the group entered the mansion's gloomy interior, the first thing they noticed was a massive portrait hanging in the entryway. It depicted a stern-faced man, with unsettlingly lifelike eyes that seemed to follow them around the room. "Pay up," Cal said smugly, nudging Diego with an elbow. "Unbelievable," Diego muttered, pulling a crumpled bill from his pocket and glaring at the portrait. "Stop staring, Boris, or whatever your name is." Serj clicked his flashlight at the shadowy hallway branching off the side. "So, which way are we going? Splitting up would really lock in the horror movie vibe." "Not happening," Max said immediately. "We stick together, explore the main floor, and His voice shot up an octave as a stuffed raven perched on a dusty shelf suddenly toppled over, landing at his feet. "Relax, Max," Narcis said, trying to suppress his laughter. "It's just a taxidermied bird." Dude almost fainted. "Stuffed or not?" Max shot back, panting slightly. "It came out of nowhere, and it touched me." He gave the bird a shove with his foot, muttering under his breath. But then they heard it. A muffled whimper. It sounded almost like crying. "Okay, that wasn't the bird," Manoo said, a little too loud. Everyone's flashlights immediately turned toward the hallway at the end of the room. "Anyone else hear that?" Serj asked, clutching his flashlight tighter. "Don't worry," Diego said with weak humor. "It's probably just the wind. Crying wind. Totally normal meteorological stuff." "Right, of course, crying," Narcis said sarcastically. "I think I'm out. I'll wait in the car." But before anyone could bolt, a trapdoor in the floor suddenly swung open, revealing a hidden staircase leading down into a dark, musty basement. "Nope, nope, nope," Manoo stammered, eyes wide. "No basements. That's where all the bad stuff happens. Everyone knows that." "Nonsense," Max said, though his voice cracked slightly. "We came here for an adventure." "I feel like I'm about to bond more with my life insurance than my friends," Cal muttered, but the group reluctantly began descending the creaking stairs. What they found at the bottom made them collectively freeze. The room was lit by flickering candles, and in the center, surrounded by ropes and what looked like occult symbols drawn in chalk, was a scared-looking goat. Well, Diego said after a beat, this is definitely not what I expected. Who brings a goat down here? Serj whispered hoarsely. Is the goat summoning the ghosts? Before anyone could respond, the goat let out a menacing bleat, and behind them, the trapdoor slammed shut. The lights went out, plunging the group into chaos. Why is this happening? Manoo yelled. Forget the ghost, Narcis shouted. I think this goat ate the homeowners. As absurd theories about the goat spiraled, the candles suddenly reignited. A cloaked figure stood in the corner, holding a massive book of what appeared to be spells. You have entered my sanctuary, the figure intoned in a guttural voice. Seriously, Cal said dryly, does everyone in this region have secret basements? Max puffed his chest out, stepping forward to confront the figure. And who are you, Dracula's accountant? But instead of replying, the figure yanked off their hood, revealing a disheveled woman in her 50s with bright eyeliner. Dracula's accountant? She repeated incredulously. Are you kidding me? My name's Lydia, and I was just trying to practice ceremonial magic to manifest financial independence. You scared me half to death. The tension in the air popped like a deflated balloon. The group exchanged bewildered looks before bursting into uncontrollable laughter. Lydia, Diego finally said, trying to catch his breath. This might be a terrible time to tell you this, but, your goat's a little creepy. Well, Lydia snapped, crossing her arms, if I'd known a group of idiots was going to break into my house, I'd have locked my creepy goat sanctuary better, wouldn't I? And so began the most bizarre friendship ever forged in a haunted, or perhaps slightly misunderstood, mansion.